Uh, Namaskaram. I pay my solemn obeisance to all the viewers and devotees. So, dear viewers, in the last video, we have discussed chapter 3 of the Genesis of Old Testament. Today, we would discuss from the 14th verse of the chapter 3 to 24th. Means 10 verses. So this 14th verse reads, "And the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life." So this is the curse. This is the general thing. This is the general way of life of living animals. And it is said here that it is a curse of the Lord God. And Lord God is saying to serpent that you should go and eat throughout your life. So everyone eats throughout the life. What is new about the God? This serpent. What is new about the cattle? Everyone who wants to live, he must eat something which it could digest. And this cannot be called curse, but this could be called a general process of life. The 15th verse reads, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." But we all know that in all conditions there is no enmity between woman and the serpent. Many women used to keep a serpent as someone used to keep a cow or pig or dog. If one is fond of serpent, one could keep it for cattling purpose, for breeding purpose, for growing purpose. So this cannot be said that there is enmity between woman and serpent. There is no enmity. Many have proven that they could live with serpent in one room, and serpent do not bite that person, whether male or female. If you would keep your feet on serpent, then the serpent could bite you. Otherwise, why it would bite you? There is no natural enmity between human and serpent. The venom of serpent is useful in medicine, which saves many lives. How could we say that it is necessarily enemy of human? Many used to cultivate like plants. They used to breed snakes, especially in China, Japan, Korea, and then they used to make some type of dishes. So all snakes, they are not venomous, and many snakes, whether venomous or non-venomous, they are eaten by human in many parts of the world, not because of enmity, but because a man can eat them and could digest them, and man thinks that serpent is his food. The 16th verse reads, "Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee." So this Lord God is cursing woman that you will be in a sorrow position, and Lord God is multiplying her sorrow. But we find many women who has arisen above this sorrow status of mind. There are many women who meditated, who prayed, and even though who is an atheist, they can be happy. How every woman could be dubbed as a sorrowful woman? All women are not sorrow. Women also feel happiness. Women also feel pleasure. So this is something very awkward. Woman also feels bliss, divine bliss. Woman is no more inferior than man as far as emotional status is concerned. Emotionally, woman is no less charged than men. And here it is also said that man shall rule over woman. He shall rule over thee. Here again, woman is put in an inferior position. Woman is not inferior to man, but Bible is preaching. This Bible is giving sermon that a woman is inferior to man, and man has the right to rule over the woman. Would any modern woman accept this view? They would throw this Bible in the dustbin. What nonsense this Bible is teaching. Is this the message? Is this the message of God? This can't be the message. This is the message of an egotistic man. The 17th verse reads, "And unto Adam he said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life." Here again, it is very funny that man is cursed in this manner. Man is said that, oh, you would always eat food for the whole life. Of course, if one has to live, one has to eat. So what is the curse in this? Did Lord God want man to live without even eating a single piece of food? Did this Lord God created any living thing, any living being who is not eating anything? Everyone has to take something from the source, from this nature, and then that being could live. And if we take anything from the nature, that is called the food. Food does not always mean that we should take with the mouth only. If anything could be grasped, because food is the source of energy. Any being could live by that energy. If we could gather energy by our hand or through our eyes or by our eyes or through our skin or like that, then it could also be called food. This is also a type of eating habit. This is also a type of grasping. Amoeba has no mouth, as such. Plant has no mouth, but plant do grasp the raw materials from sun, from earth, from water. Though it manufactures the food that it builds, but the food that it manufactures, those raw materials by which it manufactures the food, those materials could also be called food. The 18th verse reads, "Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field." So man is cursed to eat even thorns and thistles. Why it could be called curse? We could call it as our capacity to even eat those things, and by those things we could extract energy and could live. Why it could be called curse? Why it could not be called capacity? If it is capacity, it can be said in another term as boon. The 19th verse reads, "In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return." But during that time, Adam was not knowing about bread. Man, our history and our science says that we started cultivating just a few thousand years, around 50,000 years ago. We have started cultivating around 20,000, or in somewhere around 10,000 years ago. So even if we trace it to 50,000 years ago, in that condition also, it cannot be said that man had started eating bread when man landed on this earth, when man had grown on this land, and man started walking on this land. As far as our anthropological knowledge, it is said that during Homo erectus condition, we were eating only the collected fruits and animals. Even during Homo heidelbergensis stage of our human evolution, or even during Homo sapiens stage, we were not eating bread, which here it is mentioned. We were not eating bread. But this Lord God is saying that you go on the earth and start eating bread. After some lakhs of years of Homo sapiens stage, we started making bread. We have learned making bread during 10 to 20,000 years ago, not before that. So bread making era is not from the start of human evolution. So here Bible is in a wrong foot. The 20th verse reads, and Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living. See here. This is just the contrary to the scientific evidences. Man has evolved later. So here it is said that she is Eve because she is the mother of all living. How she has become the mother of all living? Did she given birth to lions or elephant or shark or whale? What nonsense this Bible is teaching. How Eve become the mother of all living creature? It is very funny thing, and it is very sad thing also, that educated people are obeying this Bible and they are proclaiming, they are declaring that, oh, Bible is book of knowledge. See what knowledge this Bible is teaching. This Bible is teaching that from human all things evolved. This is why the priests became so violent during Charles Darwin age, and Charles Darwin in his book Origin of Species described the evolution. The priests became enemy of him and started abusing him, criticizing him. But ultimately, Charles Darwin theory is more correct than this Bible. I am not saying that Charles Darwin theory is 100% correct, but far more correct than this. Anyway, the 21st verse reads, unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins and clothed them. So God clothed them with coats of skins. But today we have many advanced things. We have many refined things to clothe us. But during that time, God could clothe with skins only. And the 22nd verse reads, "And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to good and evil, and now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever." Forever, no one could live. Life is only limited. You could live not in a form of living being. Even Sanatana Dharma says that you could be immortal, but your immortality could not be in the form of human being or any form. You have to be formless, and then you could live forever. And formless living is in fact not living, but beyond living and non-living. The 23rd verse says, "Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken." So man is thrown out of Eden just to till the ground. This is a very you could say that ludicrous excuse to throw out of Eden. Why? Just to till on the ground. And this is again a false statement as far as evolution is concerned. Human started tilling very recently. Ten to 20,000 years ago, human started tilling. Not before that. But according to this, when man was thrown out of Eden, man started tilling. But man has learned tilling just recently. So this is again a verse that is worth challenging. The 24th verse reads, "So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life." So this verse wants to tell that man is drove out of the Eden garden, thrown out of the heaven, and The flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. But the tree of life is still preserved. But where is that flaming sword? Man has learnt about sword very recently. This sword is not the word of Eden Garden. This sword is recently manufactured. Man has invented it very recently. 5 to 10,000 years ago, just. So, when man started his journey, how could he know about the sword? If he was knowing about the sword, then why not he started from the start of the evolution? Anyway, this is the book, and this book, every verse of this book seems a paradox. Every verse of this book is a funny verse or anti-scientific verse, and just very childish verse which even children could analyze and criticize. They could analyze and criticize, no doubt. Even children, leave apart the erudite personalities. Now I am leaving it to you to judge yourself whether these verses are worth reading and worth exalting, which some sections of our society are always praising, always exalting this. I hope you have understood my point. If you are not agreeing with me, there is no problem. But if you are disagreeing with me, you could write your comment with your logic. I would try my best to answer according to the scientific data and evidences and theories and logic. Oh.